started. Let me see if everything's working. I should be live from Facebook and YouTube right now. Facebook is working. Bear with me, guys. Just getting into the simulcasting across both YouTube and let me see if I can get it to where I can see your comments. All right. Chat. There we go. Let's see. Oh, there you go. I see you guys now. All right. Let's see. How's everybody doing? Got 28 people in here. It's good to see everybody. I just we want to talk about this morning a few announcements. First of all, I want to tell you guys that I started a new page that is Kingdom Recovery on Facebook. And if you're not there, here's the thing. Here's what Kingdom Recovery, the Facebook page, is going to be about. It is going to be a platform that I'm going to be fully 100% full throttle sharing about my faith. So if you're wanting seeking a better relationship with God, if you would like to hear me preach, then please, the live videos, there's going to be a lot of ministry through that page. So go to Kingdom Recovery and follow, see first. Brand new page, everybody. I'm not seeing YouTube pop up in here. Let's see. That's probably because there's nobody on YouTube at this time in the morning. All right, guys, Kingdom Recovery, new page. If you want to hear me preach, if you want to hear me share about my faith, it's going to be 100% ministry on that Kingdom Recovery page. This page that you're on right now is going to be straight up recovery. Some of it's going to be clinical outreach for people needing treatment. So if you like my message and you like my live videos, go to Kingdom Recovery on Facebook. Also on YouTube and Instagram, Kingdom Recovery. We're branding this. Mid-October, we're coming out with gear. Kingdom Recovery. There's going to be t-shirts and hoodies, and I'm going to have a few hats made. I'm not going to be able to get a bunch of them, but I could probably, those of you that want hats, let me know and we'll get there. In the morning, I hope that you got your coffee. I hope that you're that you're specifically paying attention to your spiritual condition. That together, we're coming together and saying that I'm not just going to rush throughout my day being a restless, irritable, discontent jerk. And what I wanted to talk about this morning is we are enough. You know, when I say that, YouTube didn't send out a message that I'm live. Okay. Well, we'll have to check with that. Technical difficulties. That's all right. But you are enough. You are enough. I am enough. That inner dialect that goes on in your head, in our heads, that tells us that we don't deserve our greatest life. Does anybody struggle with thinking that when they rise up out of bed that they don't deserve the best things in life, that they don't deserve happiness, that they're not worth recovery? Because I know that I struggled with that for a really long time, and sometimes I still do. right? That balance between I'm not doing enough and I'm doing too much, and that it's hard for me to walk in faith and believe that good things are coming my way. Like, I know when I was in early recovery, like, that was a big part of the battle, just believing that I deserved it, just believing that I didn't believe that I could live a life without drugs and alcohol. I didn't believe that I could possibly exist in a world where I wasn't numbing my pain with drink and drug. So when I first got into recovery, of course, self-esteem is a major issue, and the things that we do in our addiction and our life circumstances, uh, you know, they amplify our low self-esteem and our low self-worth. It didn't send out a notification that I was live on YouTube for some reason. So, believing that I was worth it. And I think that it's very important. Like, it's hard for us to set goals. I believe I'm really big on having goals, little goals, big goals, monthly goals, weekly goals, yearly goals. Goals are a big part of my life, but it's really hard for you to reach for the stars if you don't believe that it's possible, if you don't believe in yourself. And when we first get clean, it's believing that we can possibly live a life without the need for drugs and drink. But even more so as we get going, like, I had to start working on building a life where the thought of taking a drink or a drug was just not it. I had to build a world in my recovery that I wasn't willing to risk losing, right? It's about striving for things and learning appreciation. Like, you will never truly taste gratitude until you've grinded and sweated and worked and persistently strived toward a goal for a long period of time. If you've never done that, if you've never set anything off in a distance and then had the discipline to work and grind your face off, like, I never appreciated anything in my life until I got into recovery. I'd never worked for anything. I never had easy come, easy go, instant gratification. Like, I didn't understand that there was anything else. I had absolutely no patience. I had absolutely just there was just nothing there. If something required me waiting or something required me doing something when it was hard, I had a whole lot of quit in me. Can anybody relate to that when I say I had a whole lot of quit in me? Like, I was a runner, and as soon as things would get hard, or as soon as somebody talked to me in a way that I didn't think that I should have to take, I had a very little tolerance. My tolerance was almost zero. So every time that the circumstances and situations would get to where they weren't of my liking, they weren't of my choosing, or they weren't of my control, I would abandon ship. I would run. I would throw up my middle finger. I don't got to take this. There was no persistence. There was no grind. And I see people in here saying they have no patience. And here's the thing. I struggle with it too. But without patience, you're never going to obtain. Without patience, you're in a whole lot of trouble. You're in a whole lot of trouble. And without the ability to wait, like, all you're doing is causing trouble for yourself. Like, if you can't take a deep breath and realize that it's God's timing and it's not mine, that I'm not in control, that we cannot, by being agitated and being restless, we don't speed up the process. We don't speed up the process at all. We got to fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the process. Appreciate the gap. Appreciate the gap. Fall in love with the gap, because a lot of wonderful things happen in that gap. That gap in between what I want, what I feel like I need, what I feel like God's calling me to do, and when it actually happens. A lot of the times what I set out to do, and when I set out to do something, I set out to do something with boldness, with persistence, with confidence. Like, I'm the type that I am obsessive compulsive. And a lot of the times I will drive somebody nuts. Like, I'll be so certain that God is calling me to go this direction, and I'll put it all in a nice little box, and I know what I'm supposed to do, and I'm waking up and I'm doing it every day. And then there's the gap. Womp, womp, womp. Then there's the gap when a door shuts in my face or something doesn't go the way I thought that it should, the way I thought it ought to. That way I thought it ought to. When a door gets slammed in my ought to expectations, then I fall into the gap. And what happens in that gap is God reshapes, remolds, redirects, whatever it is, my vision. But here's the thing. In that gap where I'm going nuts and I'm losing my mind and I'm struggling for patience, in that gap, great things happen. Like a lot of the times when that door gets shut, in hindsight, after I come out of the gap, I realized if it would have happened the way that I was trying to make it happen, it would have been absolutely horrible. My way, my will. It's not my way and my will. And I have to understand that. I have to put in the steps, put in the footwork, all about footwork, put in the footwork. But then I've got to be able to understand that only thing that I'm in control of is how I react. And when things don't go my way, when I get a flat tire, when somebody cuts me off in traffic, when somebody tells me no, I have to be able to appreciate the process and fall into that gap with gratitude and not get discouraged and give up. If I can't wait, if I can't stay in the waiting and realize that there's a reason why I'm in the waiting and use that waiting and use that gap to get closer and draw nearer to God, then I'm just going crazy. My lack of patience and my restless irritability doesn't do anything good. It takes years off my life. It takes years off my life. Do you think that worrying adds one day to your life? No, it's horrible for us. It's horrible for our health. It's horrible for our health, right? And here's the thing. The more I can trust God, the more I can fall in love with the process and realize the process is His. And the struggle is real, but the struggle is a defining moment, a refining moment. The struggle is where I am made. That is the birthing pains of greatness, that struggle. Woo-wee! If it wasn't for the struggle, if it wasn't for the pain, then I would not be anything close, anything that even resembles the man that I am today. If it wasn't for that gap in that process, I couldn't be me. That struggle is where champions are born, that process. And I have to, that's just it. As I'm waiting, as I'm struggling, I'm empowered by the process, by my trust and my understanding that, hey, I remember this one time when I tried to make this happen and it didn't go my way and I got really pissed off. And then, 6 months to a year later, I'm looking back and it was a blessing. It was a blessing. You've heard that some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers, right? We've all heard that. How true is it? Let me know in the comments if this resonates with you. If you're truly receiving this message, let me know, because this is a kingdom-minded message. It really is. All right. If I know that I'm worth it, if I know that God loves me and I'm deserving of all things good, and I could walk in faith and trust God, then maybe that will give me some relief from my will when I try to force my will into a situation, when I try and force my way, when it's almost like it's trying to play God with my control. There's no room for me to practice faith. There's no me appreciating the process when I think that I know what's best. My thinking gets me into a lot of trouble. Man, I have to understand that there's a bigger and there's a better plan, but I know that something good is coming on the other side of this. All right. I've got to redirect. I've got to refocus. I've got to reset. But on the other end of this is going to be a blessing. I know that I have a blessing coming for me. I know that I could walk in that blessing. I know that I could walk in this faith. I know, I know, I know, I know. I claim it and I receive it. It may not be on my timing. It may not be the way I wanted it, but I know that all things work together for my good. I could lean on that. I can trust that. I know that. I have that assurance. It's a promise. It's a promise. And when God makes a promise, woo wee, right? Right? So the whole point of this message is I want you to wake up today and let's break it down to the one day at a time. One day at a time. I want you to know that I want you to know and I want you to go throughout your day looking and expecting a blessing, looking and expecting a miracle. First of all, each one of you, you are a miracle. Each one of you. You woke up today, you're not sick, you're breathing, you opened up your eyes, you are a warrior, you are a blessing expecting a blessing. You're a blessing looking for a miracle, appreciating the majesty of the morning. You woke up and you're watching this video, so you're trying to do something better with your life. You're striving. So that sets you in like the 2% of the population that is actually trying to make some improvements with their life. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself some credit, a pat on the back, an attaboy, because you're doing something. You're something special, and God has something special for you throughout this day, man. It might be in an interaction with a stranger at the gas station. It might be with a coworker. It might be in a conversation with your boss who's kind of a jerk. It might be when somebody that's in need presents themselves to you today. There's some way that you could be of service, and I want you to realize that you're worth it. You're worth your greatest life, and you could go throughout this day looking through spiritual glasses, not those selfish, egoic glasses that we tend to put on. Let's throw those away. Let's throw those away so we can not mess up and jerk up our day. I don't want to mess up and jerk up my day. I got to get out of my own way. And there's nobody that could tell me that today isn't going to be an amazing day, that today can't be the best Tuesday of the rest of my life. Nobody's going to tell me that I can't strive toward my goal of greatness, my goal, whatever it is I want to do, whether it's ministry, whether it's getting a degree, whether it's getting a certification or getting a gym membership or whatever, spending some time with your kids, whatever it is you want to do today, come up with it, write it down, make it clear, and strive toward it. And don't let nothing stop you up, over, around, or through. You deserve your greatest life. But as I tell you, you deserve your greatest life and you deserve your blessing, you're going to have to take the steps toward it. You've got to take some steps. And even if it's a baby step, because lots of times that's all it'll be. Just for today, I'm going to take the baby steps. Like, right? We're coming together right here. You and I, we're coming together. We're coming together, and this is what we're doing. This is the first step. Hopefully you're getting prayed up and you realize that this is you working on your recovery. This is you paying attention to your spiritual condition. This is you practicing your recovery. So if I keep doing this and I keep the right mindset, there's a really good chance that I'm not going to drink or drug today. And that right there is an accomplishment in itself, especially if you're new to this recovery walk. I love you guys. I hope that this message is resonating with you. I want to tell you one more time. I'm about to preach. If you guys want to hear me preach, if you guys are looking for some faith-based recovery, Kingdom Recovery on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram, Kingdom Recovery. I love each and every one of you. I want to see you guys over there. I'm going to start doing a lot of my videos from there, Kingdom Recovery. This page that you're seeing me on Facebook right now, it's going to be used as an outreach tool, as an outreach to get people into treatment. And I love you guys. I want you guys, if you believe in the Kingdom Recovery message and you're working on better understanding and a better relationship with God, then I want to see you over at Kingdom Recovery. Coming out with gear in the middle of October. If you're catching this video on YouTube, please let me know and drop a comment. If you watch this video later on today and you didn't catch it live, I want you to let me know that you're here. Drop a clean date, tell me where you're from, and please let me know if this video added value to your life and to your day and to your recovery, because that's why I do this. I love you guys, and I hope you have an amazing Tuesday. Each and every one of you are divinely shaped and molded for a purpose, for a purpose. And get up and go claim your greatness. Get up and go claim your blessing. Get up and know that you are worth it.